Hello everyone and welcome back to more Knowing Wheel, episode 45 this week of this series. I cannot believe I forgot to bring up LH44 Blessed last
one
time
week
round.
You don't say the episode number.
Genuinely, the only week I haven't mentioned the episode number. But yeah, I think, Jamie, we're about to cross over a year of Knowing Wheel, and I think only missing 7 episodes in that time is not bad going.
Yeah,
it must be
pretty
said.
good.
But yeah, as always, as you would have already heard his voice, we are once again joined by Jamie183. Less than 2 weeks to go now until the start of the IRL F1 season. Of course, winter testing is going to be going on later on this week. But yeah, exciting times ahead in the world of Formula 1. Obviously, as we always say, if you're watching this over on YouTube, click the links down below, go check us out on Spotify, give us a follow on there, it really does help grow the podcast. And then, of course, there's links now. Red Bull have released their all-new 2022 merch drop over on the F1 merch store as well, so there will be links down below to that. If you click through those links, you also help support the channel. And, of course, we're still running our promotion over with Manscaped as well, so free shipping and 20% off, obviously, if you use the links. There's a lot of links down below, but they're definitely all good things that you all want to be checking out before we dive into this. But this week, though, of course, we went through all of the liveries for F1 2022. We got a couple of other little news pieces to get through, but today, Jamie and I are going to spend the next 25 minutes or so arguing about which liveries work and which ones don't.
Yes, deciding on each of our interpretations of art is correct, which is obviously quite difficult to do when you fundamentally disagree on quite a lot of things. So
yes, yeah. It's going to be fun, I think, Jamie. I also want to try and compare this with the scores we gave each livery in the single episodes we did for it.
So much.
Yeah, I'm worried that they will have both changed a little bit. So I'm probably going to put like a post out in a couple of days' time where once I've been able to go back through all the scores, then we'll compare them up to how we ranked them at the time. This is knowing wheel, not knowing art. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some controversy in this one. Now, Jamie, do we want to do in order of the cars revealed or in just the order they're on this website?
I reckon the order they were revealed in, yeah.
Do you remember the order they were revealed in?
Mostly, I think.
Because I was going to say, because I definitely don't.
I know Haas was first.
I do remember Haas was first.
Although it's changed since then for many reasons.
Yes, yeah, of course. We'll talk about that a little bit more later on in the episode. So, obviously, for those of you guys that are watching, or listening to this even, I should say, on Spotify, we are now using the non-Russian branded Uralkali sponsored Haas. We're just using the beautiful black one, black and white one that they use.
It's definitely not black.
It's not all black, but there's a lot more black on it than there was.
Yeah.
From the second and... No, just last day of winter testing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like... First of all, I'm just going to sort of say, I feel like to begin with, we kind of like this livery because it's different, not because it's particularly brilliant.
No, and it's clearly very bare, but I do like... Well, I like the stand they've taken, firstly. It would have been possible for them just to keep Mazepin and Uralkali for the money, but I'm glad they've not.
They were going to struggle to get the money in from Uralkali.
Yeah.
But, yep.
Yeah, but I do actually quite like it. It gives me echoes of the Brawn, which I'm sure many people have said in the fact that it's a white chassis with only the team's logo on it.
I was going to say, people often say red is the new neon yellow, but okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what they say. I think good is probably fair. I also expect this probably to be very different come the start of the season in a couple of weeks' time, because for their sake, I hope they've actually got sponsors by then.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, and a new driver, which will be interesting. We'll get onto that later.
Yeah, there's plenty still to talk about that, isn't there?
Yeah, we obviously chatted in length about that last week, but I think good is probably fair enough. What are you thinking?
I was looking at good. I think good is a fair place to put it. Like we said, it's a bit difficult still with Haas because, I mean, they could change their livery numerous more times before the season even begins. But it was, like we said, I think there's a lot of positivity. Obviously, the fact that they haven't just sort of stuck with Uralkali in one way or another. And obviously, it does look clean at the end of the day. You said it sort of gives you Brawn vibes. I think that and sort of like the Manor 2016 vibes. And I think everyone loves a bit of an underdog sort of plain livery with just some good colours on it. I think good is a fair place to begin with.
Yeah. I believe the next was Aston.
I believe you're wrong. I'm pretty certain it was Red Bull.
Red Bull.
It was Red Bull, I'm pretty certain.
Okay.
They, of course, have changed their livery as well since then. Of course, they've now got a load of Bybit sponsors on there.
Yeah. And the car looks completely different to how it was when it got launched, because
that's also very, very true.
Pods.
Yeah, we did very much do a launch of a car that A, didn't have the right livery, and B, never even existed, which was quite funny.
Yeah.
But like we said, obviously, Red Bull, they've brought on some new sponsors for New Year. Of course, Bybit and Oracle, two massive sponsors going to the team for 2022 and the next couple of years. Haven't really changed around much of the livery, though, have they, Jamie, apart from that? And that's what we're talking about today.
And I feel... Yeah, I think the livery obviously hasn't changed that much, as we expect almost with Red Bull now. They've sort of had the same livery for the whole time in F1, really, just with very minor differences depending on title sponsors and whatnot. I don't think this livery suits the shape of car very well. I don't quite know what it is. Maybe I think it's the nose cone has something to do with it. Obviously, it's a longer nose now than it was last year. And also the lack of like Honda sponsorships for two companies that I've not really heard of in my life. So yeah, I don't know what it is. I think I definitely prefer the 2020 and 2021 Red Bulls to this one. And we've kind of made up a category specifically for this livery.
Yes, yeah. And there's a couple of obvious ones that are going to be going in to change it up for once, but again, it sort of comes down to, wow, new sparkly Formula 1 car. We like to see a change-up on the liveries every once in a while, and Red Bull are not a team that does so. And like you said, I think, the huge yellow nose cone just doesn't quite feel right this year. It's a bit hard to describe, isn't it, at the end of the day? But yeah, that, I think, changing it up for once seems fair. Number 3 then, Jamie. I think you were right in saying was Aston Martin?
I think it was Aston, yeah.
Let's say it was Aston Martin then. This one, when it rocked off, where obviously it was the first sort of proper reveal.
Everyone loved it.
Everyone was massive fans of. And then, since then, to be honest, we sort of look around a lot of the grid and, at least in my mind, a lot of cars look better.
It's a bit middling now, isn't it? I still like it. It's a very good livery.
Yeah.
But it's not as amazing as people thought it potentially was at first.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, like we said, it was the first proper reveal. Looked great.
Yeah.
And then sort of like everyone else has come in with better looking cars. But sort of they're like, the Aston Martin doesn't look bad, but it just doesn't look as good as a lot of them. Class or just good?
I think class is fair enough. I think it's almost what they wanted to make last year until they got some pink sponsors to get rid of the green.
Yes,
so,
very true.
Yeah, I do think it'll be low. It looks nice on track as well. And yeah, especially the renders they dropped at Silverstone, apart from a super high front wing, which I'm sure they'll sort out, were very good.
Yeah, no, exactly. What was AlphaTauri up next?
I think it was McLaren.
Thinking? Yeah, I think you might be right with McLaren. And straight into trash, thank you.
I really like this McLaren.
And I don't, for the life of me, know why. I genuinely cannot work it out.
I just think it looks nice. I think the blue, obviously we know the blue and the orange works well together from the Golf liveries. It's not as good as the Monaco Golf, obviously, but I do like it. I do think it's worse than last year, but calling it trash, I mean, I'm not in control. It's Matt's computer that's recording. So, but I think it's harsh to put it in trash.
The problem I have with this, and obviously, of course, we're trying to do a tier list here, Jamie.
Yeah.
Is there any other livery that you think belongs in trash?
No. I think we've been blessed with a very good group of liveries this year.
But someone has got to fill that tier. Otherwise, it's not really a true tier list.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be able to change your mind. And you're
say
in charge,
once more and I might believe you. I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to get over the disappointment that, I quite like this livery and you're going to put it in trash.
It's awful.
Oh.
And like you said, there's no livery on the grid that looks worse, is it?
No. I think the original Haas would be below it, but that's no longer on this list. So.
Exactly. And the original Haas would have probably also gone and changed it up for once.
Yeah.
But still, McLaren, I'm sorry, trash might be a little bit unfair. Let's change it to not good, I think, is going to be the way we're going to do this. Is that fair with you, Jamie?
I can accept that slightly more, but make it be plain that if I was in charge, it wouldn't be there.
Where would it go in your eyes?
I think good. I like it.
What?
I do like it. I mean, I can't apologise. It's just my taste.
No. I
definitely don't have COVID, so leave it out.
Shocking.
Before you make a terrible joke.
AlphaTauri, I believe, was up next.
I think it was AlphaTauri next. Correct.
Now, they've had a pretty good run of form, actually, since becoming AlphaTauri, haven't they? All of their liveries have looked really good. However, each year's has looked slightly worse than the years before.
I disagree. This one's grown on me massively. I think I gave it like a 4 or a 5 when we did it at first. But on track, it looks great. I absolutely love this livery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which we're going to disagree on again.
No, I don't dislike it by any means. It's certainly not eggy McLaren. It's one of those weird ones, isn't it, AlphaTauri? Because they reveal a livery and it looks a bit meh. Then you see some renders of it and it looks like just an absolute stunner. And then you sort of see it on the track and it's kind of decent again.
Yeah.
I feel like it belongs better than Haas in good is sort of where I'm looking at, or below Aston Martin in class. But as I decided McLaren, I'll let you decide.
I think low end of class. I do actually really like it. It's in the renders at first. I thought it was pretty dreadful.
Yeah, the white background renders looked awful, didn't they? But then the Imola ones looked good.
And then on track, it looks great. So yeah, I think lower end of class is fair.
Fair enough. Like we said, we don't rule a dictatorship here. I do let Jamie have some say on the matters. Williams, I want to say, was up next. Then Jamie.
It was, yeah. I think it's just very basic. I mean, I like it. It's not offensive to me, but there's not a lot to it. I don't think.
No, exactly. It's certainly, I don't think, ever going to go down as an iconic Williams, is it?
No.
It's kind of just a bit of a rebrand from what they've used to had. Again, it kind of looks really good in very, very specific circumstances.
Yeah. So in the wet, on blue wet tyres, very, very lovely.
Yeah.
But
I don't think this year is going to be the season where every Grand Prix is a monsoon. And if it is, if it's anything like
Malaysia
Belgium
might
last
be
year.
back.
Yeah, Malaysia might be coming back. We need to talk about that in a minute. I want to say putting it in good.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Better or worse than Haas?
I think it just above Haas. It's like echoes of the old like Rosberg Williams back in the day. Not Keke,
yes, very true. Yeah, the Fly Saudi. Was it Fly Saudi? Are they all the sponsors they had back then? Yeah, I want to say they were the two big sponsors.
Or is that the Star Wars one? I can't remember.
Hey?
What's the thing from Star Wars called? That's the AT&T, isn't it? Or the AT? I can't remember.
AT&T is also a mobile phone company.
Right, yeah, it was them.
What on earth are you thinking of?
Someone in the comments will know what I mean. There's the big thing, the machine that walks on 4 legs in Star Wars is called the AT something.
I genuinely want to find this out now because I've got no idea what you're on about.
It's in Hoth, if that means anything.
Oh, the AT-AT.
Yes, I thought I was just referencing a completely random made up thing from Star Wars, but no.
Oh, bless you.
But we'll get out of that rabbit hole and move on.
We certainly will. We'll jump back out of that rabbit hole. I think next was Ferrari. I think we went to...
I think Mercedes was first, wasn't it?
I thought it was Ferrari, then Mercedes.
Okay, let's go with that.
Now, Ferrari's year, Jamie. You predicted them to win the Formula 1 World Championship this year.
Oh, no.
Yes, you did in the Ferrari preview.
To be fair, I backed myself for that.
Okay.
Mon the Charles.
Mon the Charles. Things I never thought I'd hear Jamie 183 say.
I absolutely love this Ferrari.
It does look good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely.
It does look really, really good. I mean, what are we going to see with it? Is it going to be a championship winner? I mean, that's not the point of today's video. 14 race wins you predicted.
Ferrari 23 races, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean...
Well, 22 now. Oh, Russia will get replaced, won't it? But still.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
I think I said at least 10. I'd back that. 10 race wins.
10 race wins. But today, we're not talking about that today, though, Jamie. We've got livery revealed to decide.
Spoiler.
Yeah, we are going to be doing our proper finalised F1 2022 predictions next week. This has the potential.
Very good.
Yeah, this has the potential, doesn't it, to be a goated Ferrari in the future. Yeah. The Ferrari that brought Ferrari back to the top.
Yeah, I think it has to go and goated. It's so nice, and it looks lovely on track as well.
It does.
The only thing that's bad are the race suits, but they can't. That's not part of the livery, so it's calm.
And the Shell logos don't look right.
Yeah, but they can't really do much about that when they're paying money to be on the car.
Very. I mean, this is Ferrari.
Is it F1 75, this one?
Yeah, the F1 SF 1075-21 HB.
/Apple.
Apple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not the best name, but very good livery.
we've put a Ferrari in goated here, Jamie. This is crazy.
We're becoming such tifosi merchants.
We have literally, since the start of this podcast, we have completely gone full swing towards Ferrari fandom on this channel. 3 more to go then, Jamie. First up then, Mercedes going back to the silver.
Yeah. I like it. It's nice. It's just a bit boring, isn't it?
A little bit. I mean, they've still kept some of the changes. Obviously, you've got the Ineos sponsors. Looks very good from the rear.
Yeah, it does. Although it looks a bit like a Ferrari from the rear. With the back of the rear wings red, isn't it? Or
It's not got smoke billowing out of it.
Well, yeah, apart from that. But when... that'll come back to bite you when Hamilton has an engine failure in Bahrain.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I like it. I really like the simplicity almost, because there's generally, I think, 4 colours. You've got like turquoise, 5, turquoise, silver, red, black and white, and that's it.
Yeah.
Which I rate that highly. I think it looks very good. But
yeah.
It's just a bit basic, isn't it?
And the other big problem with it, wasn't it, was the fact they've stuck sponsors over stars.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't put the sponsors around the stars. They just kind of slapped a sponsor logo over where the stars were, which seemed... I mean, it's like me trying to Photoshop something.
Yeah, your thumbnails.
My thumbnails are not the best on the YouTube platform, it must be said. I hold my hands up and admit that. Do we put it therefore in good, or do we put it in change it up for once? Because technically they've changed it back.
Technically they have. I think good is probably fair.
Better than Williams and Haas? Between Williams and Haas? Worse than Williams and Haas?
I think between. What do you think?
You think this is worse than Williams?
I think I prefer watching the Williams on track, just because it's something different.
Okay.
I don't know what you're thinking.
I was going to put it in good, but better than the Williams. Because, like I said, unless it's monsoon conditions, that Williams doesn't look particularly brilliant.
Yeah, I don't cling on too tightly to wherever this one goes, to be honest.
No, I think
it's
top of
certainly
good
okay.
is fair.
It's certainly nothing on 2 years ago's black Mercedes.
No, that 20 thing was a work of art.
Time, so.
Exactly. Moving into our second one then, I think is going to be quite controversial then, Jamie. Alpine.
Yes. I quite like it.
Oh!
This one, I like this one.
Ah, okay, that's alright. Right, this isn't going to be as controversial as I thought then, to be honest.
Okay, cool.
I really like it, both liveries.
Luckily we're not rating the pink one, because then we would need opposite end of the spectrum.
The pink would go right up in proper goated tier.
No, it would go in not good. It's worse than McLaren.
No, it's right up there, Jamie. BWT painted cars are beautiful.
I really like this one though. I think they've absolutely smashed it with the combination of blue and pink. Which
I mean, I don't know who Alpine's designer is.
It's Sean.
Is it Sean Bull?
Sean Bull, yeah, it is him.
He deserves a medal because
he's always been class at it, and then someone noticed and employed him. So.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks insane, doesn't it? How on earth you can make pink, red, and blue work? I don't know.
To be fair, I'm not a huge fan of the red in there, but they can't do much about that because that's sponsorships.
No. And I don't think it looks bad either, to be honest.
No, it's not awful. I think it's a slight step down from last year, but I just
last year's car was the best looking on the grid, wasn't it? I think we can accept that. Does it go in class or does it go in goated though, Jamie?
I would prefer for class, just because I know what's coming.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, that's fair to me. Better than Aston Martin? Better than AlphaTauri? We're going saying top of the class, are we?
Top of the class.
Top of the class. Wonderful. And that brings us on then to our final one. We've smashed through these, Jamie. We've done quite well, actually, I think. Alfa Romeo, again, another team that every year brings out a brilliant livery, and then we forget how good it is because we never see them on track.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I'm going to make no bones about it. I think this is the best livery on the grid.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's phenomenal. The shade of red and the white just works so well together. Might be something to do with Zhou's helmet design is beautiful as well. So.
Zhou has got a good helmet, out of context.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think...
What are your thoughts on it? I absolutely love this.
I do really like it as well. However, like we said, we've said this the last couple of years about the Alfa Romeos, and then they've never quite looked as good on track. I wanted to put it between the Alpine and the Aston Martin, but I'm willing to accept putting it in GOATed with Ferrari, because I feel like it's a bit insane just putting the Ferrari there by itself.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as good looking as the Ferrari.
I think I would rather say in a game I would rather drive the Alpha, but to watch on track the Ferrari's probably going to be better.
We'd hope so. We really would. I mean, when you got Bottas and Guan Yu Zhou in your lineup, any team's probably going to be better.
Wow,
but...
the disrespect! I can't believe this.
Oh mate, you know it's true. You know it's true.
I think we've done really
well.
The
least uninspiring lineup I've seen in years.
The least uninspiring, exactly. It's great. Double negatives all around.
Oh dearie me, dearie me. But there we go. I think we can be pretty happy with that, Jamie.
Yeah.
I think everything there looks about where it should.
I think if we were to add the 3 others, in my opinion, they would all be below the McLaren.
No.
Talking about the camo Alpha.
The camo Alpha, I think, would go in good. The original Haas I put in not good.
Yeah, not
and
good.
The other Alpine I'd really try and fight towards GOATed, so we'd settle at the bottom of class.
No way. I'm so looking forward to race 3 when it's no longer on the grid.
Oh yeah, it's in for the first 2, isn't it? I cannot wait for that. That is such a vibe.
Under the floodlights at Saudi and Bahrain, it will look very good.
It will. Anyway, though, that's going to do us for that segment of the podcast this week, Jamie. We have got a few other news bits to get into then. You've already touched upon it, first of all. Of course, the Russian Grand Prix has been fully dropped, and can we both just get it straight on the record? Rightly so. Get in the bin. There are talks, though, from different tracks, isn't there, about hosting for this year?
Yeah, it feels like that.
So...
My thought initially would be to go straight to Turkey, just because...
And it was on the F1 site for a while with tickets available, which was quite funny.
Yeah, but then this week, Sepang International Circuit have been tweeting some incredibly cryptic things.
Yeah.
So, very strongly hinting that they're coming back in some degree to motorsport, whether it's F1 or not, we'll have to wait and see. But I really hope it is, because Malaysia is a class circuit, so...
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of got... Back there. It's kind of got my mind thinking as well. I'm thinking F2 and F3 at Malaysia would be vibes.
Yeah.
Like, you think all that trying to go side by side down the straight. Exactly. I'm thinking an F3 race at Malaysia would be peak racing.
It'd be guaranteed turn 1 pile-up.
Oh, yeah.
30 cars trying to get through that in the first lap.
It would be insane, though, to watch.
Yeah.
But I'm not optimistic, unfortunately. I
feel like I might be.
I feel, unfortunately, again, a lot of this just comes from the fact Turkey's done it twice before over the last couple of years, and F1 messed up on their website and put Turkey tickets available. I feel like Malaysia's just trying to use this to get a few Twitter followers.
Could be that, yeah. What if you were to back out of those two, or any other circuit you think might take over from Russia's spot? Who are you backing?
Are we saying if we had to put £50 on this, which track?
I don't have 50 quid. Call it 5.
Okay, call it £5. If we had £5 to put on which track is replacing Russia, I would go Turkey.
See, safe bet, I would also go Turkey, but my heart wants me to go for Malaysia.
Yeah, but my heart doesn't control my money.
That's, yeah.
My brain does, Jamie.
Gamble responsibly.
Perhaps this is why you haven't got £50 to put a bet on this.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I think it probably will end up being Turkey, but it would be great to see Malaysia back.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we always want to see Malaysia. I feel like we mention it every other week or so, don't we?
Yeah.
Whether it's sprint races or now F2 and F3. But yeah, Malaysia is such a good circuit as well, it must be said. Obviously, the big talking point from last week as well, about whether Nikita Mazepin was going to go. Of course, that's now being confirmed. He's out the door. Again, we probably should put this on the record. Good riddance.
Yep.
Will not really be missed in 2022.
Didn't offer very much to F1 at all.
He certainly didn't.
His country offers even less to the world. So,
yes.
Well,
very true.
The people, I'm sure, are quite nice.
Yes, exactly. Some of them. A lot of them, I'm sure. But, yeah, in terms of who's going to replace him, though, we're still no closer to an answer. Or we've got a couple of hints, haven't we,
It's the Hulk show. I don't care. He's back.
It might well be the Hulk show now, isn't it? Because Gene Haas, literally hours ago today, has come out saying that Fittipaldi's going to be in the car for testing, but likely not for the season.
Yeah, they want experience, basically. Oh, you've got it again.
No, I haven't. I'm still here. I just closed down my stream.
Okay, you just closed the stream. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry.
Didn't see that. Yeah. I think it's if I generally did, I do have £50. I would put 50 quid on Hulk getting the seat now.
I genuinely think we're heading towards that direction. Again, my heart so desperately wants to say Piastri still.
It won't be.
It's not going to happen, though. I'm still inclined to believe it might be Gio, especially as Haas are trying to double down on their sort of trying to get in with Ferrari.
I'd just... That'd be such an uninspired signing. I feel like Hulk's got so much more to offer than Giovinazzi.
Yes,
even at
exactly.
34, whatever he is now. He'd be such a good mentor for Schumacher as well.
Yes, and I think this is the important thing, isn't it? Ferrari might try and say all this about Gio, but he's been woeful in Formula E so far this season as well.
And he was pretty...
woeful in most Formula 1.
It was pretty woeful in F1.
Yeah, I'm just not optimistic. I mean, yeah, like I said, my heart wants Piastri. Your heart wants Hülkenberg.
My heart's getting what it wants. We move.
I feel like your heart might actually get what it wants here, but I'm not gonna hold my breath just yet. Hülkenberg is probably I think Giovinazzi is the boring move. Hulk's probably the smart move, and Piastri is the brave move.
Yeah, and I think they've made it pretty clear that if they were going to get a rookie in, they would get Fittipaldi.
Yes.
So I don't see them getting Piastri in. Unless Renault or Alpine pull some huge strings in the next few days.
Oh, just give them a load of money, Alpine.
Yeah, that's what they need
please.
to do. It's such bad management.
Just give them a load of money and put Piastri in a Formula 1 car.
Get some BWT on the house as well. Why not?
Exactly. That would look good. Yeah, just make that the BWT car. We're sorted then. Big other news this week, though, Jamie. Max Verstappen might well have just signed the longest contract in F1 history.
Yeah,
for a driver.
Crazy moves. It's 2028, was it?
2028.
Yeah, that's mad. He'll almost be here as long as Bahrain's contract is, but not quite.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very well deserved. It's probably the biggest disparity between two driver wages, I would imagine. We're saying that Mercedes probably get another.
I was going to say, yeah. Mercedes are probably not far away.
Checo's on $5 million a year. And Max is on $50 million a year now.
Yeah, a mad thing, isn't it, that you drive the same car, he's a few tenths a lap faster than you, and you get paid 10 times more.
Yeah.
Is probably quite painful, but I'm sure Checo hardly struggles to sleep at night on $5 million.
$5 million a year, and wipe himself down with some banknotes.
Exactly, with some Mexican oil money as well.
Yeah.
That he still does pretty well.
Yeah, very well deserved, I think, for Max. He made it pretty clear after Abu Dhabi that he wanted to stay with the team.
Yes, yeah.
Makes sense for both parties. I'm sure there's get out clauses in case it does go badly.
Oh,
wrong.
yes, definitely. And this is the thing, isn't it, that we discussed sort of behind the scenes a couple of days ago. You know, that would mean Max, if he makes it to the end of the contract, would have been at Red Bull then for pretty much 13 full seasons.
Yeah.
Which blows any sort of driver record. I think it's still Schumacher, isn't it, 11, at the moment?
Yeah.
Schumacher... with 11, and Hamilton's closing it. Well, Hamilton have done 11 by the end of his contract. 13 seasons would have been insane. And, of course, the other mad thing to think about then is Max Verstappen would still only be 31 when that contract expires.
He'll have done over 300 races.
Depending on, obviously, if Formula 1 can keep all the tracks on the calendar.
Which I imagine they will.
Exactly. Just completely insane numbers.
He's going to shatter all the records, surely.
If he hangs around. This is the thing.
And if Red Bull can keep delivering, that's the thing.
Exactly, because Max Verstappen has always... I mean, he's always said a lot of things, and I've never believed a lot of it, but he's always said, you know, if he gets bored of it, he will call it a day. Will he or not is a very different question.
I'd be surprised, especially if he's still winning. He seems to enjoy that. So...
Very true. It's one of those ones, isn't it, where I think Red Bull were willing to sort of pay him that 50 mil because then they're like, look, you're as good as Hamilton now.
Well, he is.
Let's not go that far. But yeah, how it'll fare down the line. You know, we could see a Seb situation where he signed another deal with Red Bull and then went pretty much 2 years later. I want to say.
Yeah.
We just don't know yet.
I'm certain if Red Bull are suddenly third fastest, which is not out of the question, they'll 100% be get out clauses.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the other question, though, isn't it? Where could Max go? Could Mercedes poach him when Hamilton retires?
Yeah, if that seat is available and Red Bull are like third, fourth fastest, Max will be on the phone straight away to Toto. Get him in that Merc, dominate the sport for the next 50 years.
Yeah, because the thing is, and I know we say this about a lot of Formula 1 drivers, but I can genuinely see Max going there for a huge pay cut as well.
Yeah.
If it comes to it. Red Bull are willing to pay him money that I don't think Mercedes would sign off on.
But Mercedes are probably more guaranteed to give him a capable car year on year. Red Bull are a bit more volatile.
Exactly. Last big news talking about IRL Formula 1 then, Jamie. I'm going to let you explain this one. Pirelli have announced their tyres for the first 3 Grand Prix of the year.
Which I'm quite excited by. Not so much the first 2 because that's quite basic. They've got the C1, 2 and 3 for Bahrain, which is the hardest options they could have gone for, which we often see with Bahrain just because it's so hot and such high on the tyre deck.
And first race of the year.
And first race of the year. I don't want anything stupid happening. And then for Saudi, it's the mid-range, so C234 for Saudi Arabia, which, again, quite expected. I think that's what they had last year as well. But yeah, of course, we don't have the Q2 tyre rule anymore, which makes this last bit of news very interesting because for Australia, it's the C2, 3 and 5, which I think is the first time since they bought in, maybe since they've bought in a 3 tyre rule, that they've had a split, as in like...
No.
I think it is. 2019,
I feel like they did a couple of times. 2018, 2019, I'm pretty certain they did.
Well, anyway, it's the first time in a long time that they've bought like a stepped tyre range. They've got the C2, the C3, and the C5.
Yeah.
So the C5 is just going to be a quali tyre, I think, for Australia. And then, unfortunately, they're probably all just going to do a one-stop with C3 to C2, or just use those as the race tyres.
Or C3 to C5, depending on what the tyre wear's like.
I doubt the C5 will be good for anything around Australia.
Australia's probably going to be quite a tyre shredding circuit, though, now, remember.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see, but it's very interesting, and it makes me hopeful that they'll keep doing this, especially if they bring, like, say it was a C2, a C4, and 5. That would make it interesting, because the C4 and 5 generally are quite bad on tyre wear.
Yes.
So if they can do that, will mix up the strategies.
I've just been stupid. I thought the C5 was a harder tyre, not the other way around.
C5 is the softest.
Yeah, sorry, no, that was me being stupid.
Yeah. So it remains to be seen. What I worry that everything will be one stop because there's no Q2 tyre rule anymore. But we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully they can keep mixing up with the different tyre choices for each race, and obviously teams can then go ahead and choose their own allocations for each race, which I'm sure will be published in a few days' time probably.
What I want to see, Jamie, is teams having to use all 3 sets of tyres during a Grand Prix. That's what I want, because I feel like that could spice things up a lot.
I'm not sure that would work in practice, really, to be honest. I don't know.
Well, not in practice, in a race.
I mean, come on. I think what we'd ended up seeing is like, I remember back to 2011, they did it a few times where you would do the whole race on the tyres you actually want to do the race on. And then
just pit with like 2 laps.
Yeah. So,
because that was Seb at Monza, wasn't it? It was
Germany
the famous
as well
one.
In 2011.
Yeah.
Well, him and Massa both did the same thing, and it was just a pit stop race.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think forcing 2 stops unnecessarily, I don't think is the right way to go about it, because they would then just like pit at the end of lap 1 or pit at the start of the final lap, for instance, and I just don't think that's very natural. So I'm
not sure they would anymore.
I would prefer it just to be 2 stops forced by the tyre deck, but obviously it's hard to nail tyre deck without having mad punctures like we've seen a few times in the past. And
again, you'll always get those crazy people that try and stretch out one stop when it's probably not doable as well, isn't it? Yeah, I think... Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, isn't it? Of course, new tyres, everything like that, always can create a little bit of drama potentially as well. And then, of course, with the ground effect, everything like that, that's going to be interesting to see how it affects the tyre wear a lot more this year. That, I think, is going to do us, though, for IRL F1 news, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
But... this week, Jamie, and you're not even aware I'm going to do this yet, we're bringing in a little section for gaming. Yeah, we've had quite a few different little pieces of news. Have you heard some of the new features apparently coming to F1 2022?
I have, and I think I was underwhelmed by all of them, but go ahead.
So apparently, we're going to be getting road cars in F1 2022, as well as, like, a My Life mode where you can buy cosmetic items and things like that.
It's basically like New Star Soccer.
Yes.
Back in the
Can
day.
I gamble all my stars on horse racing and get kicked out because they realised I was under 18?
That was very funny. What a game. Yeah, I mean, if they do well, like if it's done very well, I think it could be really good. Something like Forza Horizon levels, but obviously it won't be because it's like a minor part of a mainstream game.
Yes, yeah.
But I think it's a good step, and certainly it's the sort of thing you can build on by adding more and more features to year on year.
Exactly.
So it sounds good for sure.
This is the thing, isn't it? Every year, F1 or Codemasters even kind of put like a test bed in for a new thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's very difficult sometimes to sort of work out what that test bed is. So like F1 2018, you had the customizable car that obviously then became my team in F1 2019. Yeah. Then of course we sort of had like the F2 cars, everything like that came in. Then of course we had like the story mode, which came back on F1 2021 that was in F1 2018. Or like we sort of had like the very early start then, obviously with Devin Butler and Lucas Weber back then. So they sort of bring in ideas and then sort of test the water with them and then go back and work on them a lot more behind the scenes. So apparently, we're going to get like a bigger story mode again in F1 2023, like we saw in F1 2021. Must just be added though. We've only had one source for this so far.
But it is a fairly reliable one, I want to say. Like a couple of days before he announced this stuff, he announced a load of FIFA stuff that actually was true as well.
Yes.
So he's got history of, well, one thing being true. But yeah, we'll have to wait
and apparently he used to do like COD leaks and things like that as well.
Yeah. So yeah, that'd be cool.
We'll wait and see about that, isn't it? Other big news though, literally minutes before we went to record the podcast today. F1 Manager 2022. Jamie, I feel like we're going to burn an unhealthy amount of hours into this.
I absolutely abuse Football Manager for hours. So the fact they're releasing an F1 version that's actually fully licensed, because I played the previous one back in what?
Like Motorsport Manager was brilliant.
Around that sort of
2016, I think it came out.
That's crazy.
It was ages ago.
So I had that on PC and it was good. And I put a decent number of hours into it, but I don't know, because it wasn't like official, it also didn't have real tracks, didn't have like much replayability. I don't think the graphics weren't amazing. I probably got about 50 hours on Steam of it, which is quite a lot. But like this new one, I feel like, especially if it's got a multiplayer mode, which we don't know if it has yet, but hopefully it will.
Yeah,
that's going to be such a time sink. I will happily do a co-op with you on that.
If there's a co-op on that, I'm more than down, because genuinely, I look at that. Apparently, it's going to be a yearly release.
Yeah, like
Football Manager, I was going to say, I can still easily see myself pushing sort of 400-500 hours into that.
Yeah.
Like we said, if there's a co-op, we will definitely be doing that on the channel as well. I'm definitely going to be running the career mode though on there, over the course of the summer.
Yeah.
It's going to also be released on console as well, which is quite good, I think.
Yeah, it's more, just allows more access to the game, doesn't it? It's usually, certainly comparing to Football Manager, it's the Xbox version's watered down from the PC version, but it just allows more players to get into it. So that's not a bad thing. Exactly.
And we'll wait and see, obviously, closer to the date. But yeah, that was just one little thing that we were both very, very hyped about.
Yeah.
We're really now, aren't we, Jamie? I know you're not really a content creator anymore, but of course still on the podcast, There's a lot of ideas going around now, you're already sort of looking towards F1 2022. I'm sure you remember the feeling back in the past of trying to like plan content
Work
ahead.
Out which team you're going to start your career mode with. Hope no one else does it.
It's going to be so much hype when that game drops as well. F1 Manager, F1 2022. The summer's going to be fun, I think. This is not going to be the year I finally get a tan. I'm just going to be inside
like
playing games still. Exactly. Anything else to add, though, Jamie, before we finish off today? I think we've pretty much rattled through everything, haven't we?
I think we have. I just check in Twitter, because I always do.
Because always something gets announced right as we finish one of these.
Nothing obvious has been announced since we started, so yeah.
Wonderful. Well, there we go then. Thank you, everyone. As always, so much for watching and enjoying the podcast. If you have enjoyed, though, make sure you do leave a like, get yourself subscribed. And yeah, Jamie and I will be back then next week for more Knowing Wheel.